Who did we get to see at 90s Con yesterday? Are you a 90s fan? If you are, then you need to make sure to be staying tuned to all the amazing episodes on our 90s Nostalgia Week. This week, only on Project Joy Live. Let's do it. Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday, March 18th, 2024. I hope you are doing well today. I am super excited to be here with you for this entire week because it's 90s Nostalgia Week. I am so pumped. I'm coming off of attending 90s Con with my husband yesterday, which was I'm going to have all the details for you today. Who were my favorite people that we saw? What happened? What if you guys saw the picture on Instagram? What the hell were we looking at? I have the whole story behind that photo. So coming soon this morning, and we're gonna bypass all of the usual stuff today because I have a very special co-host with me for the entire week. We were friends back in the 80s and 90s, and I'm super excited to have her join me for this entire week. She's been a friend for a long time, and she lives here in Connecticut with me. And I'm super excited to have her recap some of the best and maybe even the worst or the cringy of the 90s. Without further ado, let's welcome my friend Danielle Valero to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know we're trying to wake up here. The mornings don't come as easily now as they might have in the 90s.
For sure.
I have to show you kicking off here my earrings this morning. So I picked these up yesterday. We have Jen on one side and Dawson on the other. From Dawson's Creek there this morning. So this is and I'll have to tell you about where I picked those up. There were some really good vendors at 90s Con yesterday. I was having a moment though. I'm like, I wish Danielle was here because you would have been freaking out. Freaking out.
Oh yeah.
I love it. What's bringing you joy this morning, my friend?
Being here. So far. Yes.
Yes. I love it. I love to have you back here on the show. We're gonna cover all the 90s stuff this week. Today, I'm gonna share with you the craziness that was yesterday. And of course, we'll dive into a little bit what you can expect the rest of the week. Wednesday, we're gonna have a 90s party live here on the show. And what's a party without trivia? Love it. So we're going to do some trivia, and they had some great trivia questions popping up on the screen during some of the panels yesterday that I took screenshots of. So I'm like, we're going to use those. We're going to use those on Wednesday. So we're going to do that Wednesday. So dress up in your best 90s attire and join us for that. And then Friday, we're going to do like a best of some of our favorite moments, music, movies, TV shows, all that fun stuff from the 90s. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You're rocking the side pony this morning.
The early 90s kind of, I don't even know what side here.
I love it. I love it. I had a whole like high ponytail this morning, but you can't see it. Once I put my headphones on, you can't see anything. So I'm like, I try. I try. Okay, so I showed you a little sneak peek yesterday of somebody that I saw at the end of the day. which I was so exhausted by that point. The doors opened to 90s Con here in Hartford, Connecticut at 10 a.m. And you know what was hilarious? They had these lines on the floor for like where you're supposed to stand. And it wasn't like a straight line. They weren't straight lines. They were these
Oh,
like snake s lines. And there she's trying to direct us at the end of the line. And I was like, you probably want to go to the front of the line first because we can't help you back here. Like we can't figure it out. So they go in this S line and then they go to open the doors and everybody just runs anyway. So it's like, what's the point of that? All that stress. I don't know. I don't know. All
oh
right.
my
So
goodness.
I know you saw a couple of who was there yesterday. Um when we were kind of talking about it before a little bit, who would you have gone to like right to their table?
Dawson's Creek, hands
Dawson's
down.
Creek. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um James Vanderbeek, he that's where we
Love
went first.
him.
That's where we went first. And he was so just sweet and kind and warm and anything you would expect from James Vanderbeek. He was just absolutely amazing. I don't know if anybody knows this, but he also has 6 children, like we have 6 children. And so it was really like when I told him that, he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yep, we're there with you
Oh,
too." So that was a great moment. And I told him, I said, "We've been talking about you on the show for like 2 weeks and about how you were like my first first one that I was going to." And I told him I extended the invitation. I said, "Listen, we would love to have you on the show anytime that you want to come." So
ooh.
we're gonna James, you were he was wonderful. He really was wonderful. But so he was the first one that we saw. I'll share my picture here for the moment.
Aw,
He was really
that's a good
wonderful.
picture.
His the Dawson's Creek panel was Saturday, so we only went the Sunday. I will tell you this, next year I will get the 3-day passes. It is so stressful to try to squeeze in like everything that you want to do and all the people that you want to see in a single day. Like
Yeah.
it really, because when you factor in that at some point you have to rest and eat. and and then there's the panels and the photo ops and the tables with the meet and greets, and then there's the vendors, and there's all of these things to see and do, and the day goes by like that. Like it really,
Can imagine.
it was a lot. What would you have said to James or asked James had you been there with for this moment?
Hmm. I don't know. I would just say that I follow him on social media and I love all of the things that he talks about and the perspective
Yes.
he gives on a lot of things and how he is so down to earth and I just like the way his like mind works and how he
Mm.
thinks about things and he goes in such a direction with his thinking that I just find very inspiring. So yeah.
Yes. And that was one of the things that I shared with him yesterday is like I appreciated how, some of the things that he shares about life in general on his
Yes.
Instagram. And I said, look, it reminds us that, actors are people too, and that they're layered and multifaceted. And he was like, I really appreciate that. So he appreciates that we recognize that sort of down to earth nature um that he has. And he was just, I just can't. He was just super nice. And so all of the celebrities have laid out on their tables when if you get an autograph from them, you get to pick like which photo do you want them to sign. And it was hard because I was like Mox from Varsity Blues, Dawson from Dawson's Creek, which direction do we want to go with this? And then he had this one photo of he's just on a wall, and I was just like, I'll
Oh,
take that one. So this is the one. This is the
ooh,
one,
that's a good picture.
right?
Wow.
That's the one that we went with there. And so I was so excited. I went right to, soon as we got that, I went over to the merch table to get this cute little trapper keeper. Hello, trapper keepers.
Oh, they don't even
Um,
call them that anymore.
I think they called it a folder there. I'm like, that's a trapper keeper. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
trapper keeper.
um, so I got one of these, and they gave us like 5 of the sheets to start us off to hold, hold stuff in, thank goodness. So I got that because I was like, I don't want these to get ruined. So that was like my second stop after James' table, was to go pick that up. By the way, Miss Brittany is joining us this morning. She says, "Good morning, happy Monday." Um,
Morning.
Sharon's joining us. She said, "Can't wait to hear all about your day yesterday. Danielle, is so nice seeing and meeting you. Your bestie Jessica has shared great things about you and all the fun you have together."
Aww.
It's true. Every time I talk to Sharon, I'm like, Danielle and I went out dancing again last night. I love it. So we did that. And then I went to get the trapper keeper, and then we went to go sit for a minute. The hall was quite big, like where this is just
Wow.
the sitting area in that area. And so thank goodness they had a lot of chairs so you could like
Take
plop
a
for a
break.
minute.
Yeah.
Yes. So then then we went to another table. Um the lines weren't super long at that point. I think a lot of people were starting to go upstairs for the panels. And so if you didn't go to the panel, it was a great time to go like find who you wanted to go see. Um this gentleman had been in a lot of shows that we've seen, including Full House, Step by Step. He was the voice to so many animated characters as well. And one of my daughters has a massive crush
Oh.
on
Uh-oh.
him, on his characters when he was younger. I will point that out. And so we went up to his table, and he was so super nice. And he takes my phone and he's like, "You trust me with your phone, right?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever." So it was it was such a moment, because I was like, um my daughter that's at home has such a huge crush on you. And he was like, well, why isn't she here? And he was like, oh, date, you guys are having a date, like that. Yes, having a date. So he takes my phone and he goes, "This is for later." It's Jason Marsden, everybody, from DJ's boyfriend in Full House, Dana's boyfriend in Step by Step. And he's like, "I don't know what this was." But he's like, "That was for later." And I'm like, "Okay, great,
Oh, okay.
wonderful." So we had quite the little photo shoot with him. Him and
Oh,
my husband bonding over almost being 50 years old, and beards and all of that good stuff. And so he was probably like the most fun out of everybody that we saw yesterday. So this was the one that was on Instagram this morning. And the hilariousness behind this is he goes, "Let's look off in the distance, like very serious, and pretend like we see something, like, like, what is that? What are we looking at?" And of course, my husband looks the completely opposite direction, and he goes, "What were you looking at?" Like,
of course, Phil
so
would do that.
I know. It was a whole moment. And so it was hilarious. And he was just so funny and very down to earth. He took so much time with us. We probably stood there at his booth for like 15 minutes talking to him about different things, and getting older and being nostalgic and all of that. And then we go to walk away because each celebrity's booth had like you could buy a selfie, or you could buy a selfie and an autograph, or sometimes they would do videos with you if you wanted, and each thing like had different pricing. And so we had just gone there to do a selfie with him, and he, like I said, he took all that time, and then we had a little impromptu photo shoot. And as we're walking away, he's like, wait. What was your daughter's name again? And I said, Margine. And he goes to the back and gets this picture of him with like all of his animated characters around him, and writes her name on there. And it was so sweet.
That is so sweet. Like
So
really,
sweet.
he must have had a lot of energy though.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's like my height. Like he's super, he's so he's short, which is, and he's got like all of this energy, which was fantastic. And you kind of, you hear a little bit of behind the scenes while you're there, like some of the celebrity handlers and things like that. And they were like, everybody just talks so highly of him, of Jason Marsden. And he just, stellar human being. He was voices in the Goofy movies. He was on Boy Meets World as well,
oh,
Full House, Step by Step. He did some of the voices in Spirited Away for some of you anime fans. Goof Troop, um Garfield,
oh,
uh just so, I mean, his list of things he's been in was longer than I even realized. Like so many things. So many
wow.
things. So shout out to Jason Marsden. By the way, fun fact, he is not related to James Marsden, who is also an actor. They are not related at all. So that's
Hmm.
a fun fact. Um Good morning, Mike. It's good to see you. By the way, Mike was our winner of our prize on Friday. And this is Mike's prize. Mike, I went over to the merch um place for you, stand, wherever we were shopping, and got you this fantastic 90s Con keychain. It
Wow.
has the 90s Con logo, and it has little like the Game Boy and the cassette tape. It's very cool. So this was
That's
Mike's
so cool.
prize that he won on Friday. So that was super fun. I will get that to you soon. How was your run in Hartford yesterday? I didn't see anybody running while I was there, but I was inside. So there was that. Um we walked by the table for Jodie Benson, who was the voice of Ariel and the Little Mermaid. And Jodie Benson is like stunning. Just, she glows like she is Ariel. Like she's so incredibly gorgeous. So that was super fun. We didn't get to talk to her or anything, but there were so many people, and it's like, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? It was a little overwhelming, if I'm being honest. So then we went upstairs. Anybody out there, let me know if you're a fan of Seventh Heaven. So Seventh Heaven, four of the children and the mom were there. And we went upstairs to watch their panel that they did. So that's in the ballroom for the panel. It was really wonderful to get to have them sit. So there's Barry Watson and Beverly Mitchell, mom and two kids there. And I remember her saying how wild it was for her to, like, because she was a mom at the time, and she would like leave her kids to go be mom to these other kids, on set. And that really sat with me for a moment as a mom. Like, that must have been a really wild experience to do. Could you imagine, like, doing that, like you having to leave your own kids and not being able to mother them, but then having to go mother other kids that aren't even yours, right?
Can't imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. They talked by the way, the one they look so Barry Watson comes out in a skirt. Do you guys see him?
Okay.
in the middle there. So a lot of the handlers that day had on these green skirts because it was St. Patrick's Day. So a lot of them had like all of this St. Patrick's stuff on, and he came out in this skirt and he goes to take it off for the photo about then, and everybody starts screaming like, no, leave the skirt on. So all of the pictures have Barry Watson in this skirt, which was hilarious. But it was great. That was a really great panel to go to. We didn't get to see any of them at their tables, but it was a lot of fun. Um and then we got to go to our little whirlwind hour and a half with a certain cast that I told y'all was going to be important to me. So I've got a video to show you and everything else. We're going to take a super quick break and come back. But I want y'all to figure out who was the cast that I said I was so excited to see the entire cast when we went to 90s Con. Think about that as we go to break, and we'll be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. It is Monday, March 18th, 2024. I'm here with my good friend Danielle Valero as we embark on 90s Nostalgia Week this week. We're talking about my little trip to 90s Con yesterday, which I will not try to squeeze it all in one day next year if they come back next year, because it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on. And I would have loved to see even more people and more of the panels and more of the things that went on. But I'm so happy with what we got to experience yesterday. We were talking about before the break. I got to see James Vanderbeek, Jason Marsden in person, talking to them, having conversations. And then we went to go head up to the Seventh Heaven panel, came back downstairs. This is a huge convention center, by the way, you guys, like many floors, a lot happening. And so when we got back downstairs, we had to get in line for our one photo op that I got ahead of time, which I told you guys, this was the show that I was like, have to go see. Do you remember who it was, Danielle?
I think I do.
Okay, what's your guess? What's your guess?
Hey Dude.
It was Hey Dude.
Yay, it was right.
It was Hey Dude. We got in line and went and got
Stop
pictures.
it. Oh my gosh.
There we are, with Kelly Brown, David Lasher, me, Christine Taylor, Phil, and Josh Teagle. And it was incredible. The photo op. I've never done a con like this before. Have you ever been to one of these big conferences? So when you buy a photo op ahead of time, there's a big difference between the photo ops and going to the artist tables. So you go to a table, you got to wait in line for quite some time. You can get an autograph and a selfie for a lot of them. And they take a couple minutes and like talk to you. You can really have a moment. And maybe if you've always thought, what would I say to them if I met them in person? Now that's your chance to say those things. The photo ops, you go in, they take your ticket, they shove you in this room that's got the professional lights and the background and everything set up. Take the photo, cheese, and then go. Like you
Oh,
don't talk to them. You don't, like, it's literally in and out. So obviously this was great and wonderful, but I was like, I can't not talk to them. So we went to go pick up the photo and then went over to the where their individual tables were. And I knew that I was going to do the panel later on in like an hour and a half or so coming up. So Christine Taylor and David Lasher had a few people at their tables, but so we stopped by Kelly Brown and Josh Teagle first. Kelly Brown is the sweetest. I went up to her table and she was like, "That pink is everything." She was talking about my pink shirt.
oh,
Um, and she was just super, super sweet. Here's me and Phil and Kelly there. And so she has a boutique in Montauk, Long Island. And she was like, "You gotta come. You gotta come out to." I'm like, "Of course we'll go." Marjean's like so into fashion and everything, and so of course we'll go out there at some point. It's just a little ferry ride, here from New London over to there. And she was talking. I was telling her about how we had just watched like my favorite episode the night before. I was showing the girls. We all like piled on my bed in here to watch it. And she was just super nice, talked a lot about her experience, took a lot of time with us to answer questions and go down memory lane a little bit. And then so at her table, I chose the full cast photo there, and there she is
oh, wow.
here. And then Josh Teagle that played Buddy was at the table next to her, and we went over there, and this is the one that I picked of him. It's a very, very and he is so Josh is a private investigator now, which is really interesting. Here's us with him. And he's super, super nice. He got very emotional during the panel because he's actually been back to where they taped the show in Arizona. And I don't know if you guys have looked at this. You can actually go on YouTube and check out some of the videos that of people that have gone back there. But the old sets like falling apart. It's like there's nothing, like
Oh,
they just let it go. And that's
that's a
hard.
shame.
That's hard to watch. I'll be honest with you, because as he was showing the photos, he showed some of them in during the panel. Sorry, it's so hard to see. Um, it was so hard
Oh,
to watch that because like you can see like there's the roof is coming down in the buildings, and there's like stuff all over the place. And so it was really hard to see because I started crying at that moment during the panel, because even though like I'd never been there or anything like that, it's not like not like I was on the show or anything, but it felt like how so many of us feel that sometimes it's hard to like see those parts of our growing up kind of going to pieces in that way. Like,
falling apart. Yeah,
yeah, like we can't go back. We can't go back. And
unfortunately.
yeah. And that was the moment that I had during that was when I really started to get like I cried like the rest of the the rest of the afternoon. I was like bawling. Um the sad part is so we saw Kelly Brown and we saw Josh Teagle, and then we walk next table over to Christine Taylor and David Lasher, and they were like, they're not taking any more people right now. So I didn't get to talk to either one of them.
Oh,
I was really sad. really sad. But we went up to see them in the panel next. There's Christine and Kelly on the stage, and there was some great moments where they talked about Christine also playing in the Brady Bunch, and how amazing she did in that. And then, of course, talking about David Lasher in White Squall. Do you remember that movie, White Squall? Oh my God, that had so many people in it, like people that we grew up with, like
Really?
especially the guys. It was a true story about this classroom of students that they did like a semester at sea on a boat, and they all ended up dying. Like all of these people died on the, like it was such an incredible movie, but it was so sad because it was based on, you know, true incident that had happened. And then Josh Teagle's nephew was there, and he had the original belt that they wore on the show, Hey Dude.
Wow.
So that was a cool moment as well. So yeah, that was really good. That was really good. They came up at the end. This is one of the group photos. They came up at the end there. The panel was great to hear a little bit. And they have a podcast, David Lasher and Christine Taylor. It's called Hey Dude, the 90's called. You can go check that out. And
Wow.
there has been talk, they've pitched, but they haven't gotten anything back yet about some kind of reboot type thing. That's what.
Ooh, that would be nice.
So it would be amazing. So that's awesome. And then we went back downstairs, and it was like by that time the panel was over about 4 o'clock. Everything was ending at 5, and a lot of people had left. I walked by to see if we could get to um Danielle Fishel, Ryder Strong and Will Friedle from Boy Meets World. They had already left. They were doing another event that night, but we did see them earlier in the day. But there was somebody there that we got the last photo of the day. And this is like, I literally walked up to this man and I said, "You must be absolutely exhausted." He was there for 3 days. He's in his 90's, you guys. And he was there with his wife, who was also a part of the show. And that's William Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
What?
It was
That's crazy.
a whole moment. And this is the William Daniels. This is the one that I got of him.
Oh my goodness.
There. He was very, very soft spoken. You could tell, like, could you imagine doing something like a 90's con in your 90's
That's
for
nuts.
3 days?
Nuts.
And so I was just like, thank you so much for doing this. And you know who he always remind me of? Do you remember Mr. Beverly from West Side?
Yes.
He always reminded me of him. And I told him that I was like, every time I watch the show, I'm like taken back to 6th grade at Westside Middle School with
Just
Mr.
unlocked
Beverly.
a memory that was deep in there.
There it is. There it is. All the memories are unlocking this week, you guys. That's what's happening. So yeah, we only had like a moment with him, and he was exhausted. And of course his wife, Bonnie Bartlett, is a goddess of her own. Like and I didn't even realize like William Daniel had done Knight Rider. Remember that show?
Yes.
Yeah,
My mom was obsessed.
Right. Somebody brought a Knight Rider car for him to sign, which was really cool to see. Bonnie Bartlett, like I said, his wife, been in so many things. So I just want to like, for them to do that, that was a special moment. I knew that I wanted to go see him because just some of the royalty that were there. We walked by Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon. Their lines were Alyssa Milano, their lines were around like this. Those would have been like I needed to be there for 3 days to be to be able to kind of get in there and see them. But getting to just walk by them and be like, oh my God, we're in the same room. That was kind of cool. And then um Melissa Joan Hart from Clarissa Explained
Oh,
It All and Sabrina the Teenage
yes.
Witch and so many things. It was cool to see her there and some of the other cast from Sabrina. Um Linda Larkin, who played the voice of Jasmine, Disney in Aladdin.
Okay.
She was there. So that was cool to walk by her as well. And so then we're getting ready to leave, and we saw, and there, like I said, there was a lot of people that had to go. A lot of the celebrities had to catch flights and things like that. So there wasn't that many left at the very end. And one of my favorites growing up, and one of the shows that it was one of the few shows I remember watching with my brother Adam was Step by Step. And they had the majority of the cast there. Very sad that Suzanne Summers passed away fairly recently. And so obviously it was everybody else that was there. Patrick Duffy was there, and all of the siblings were there. And one of my favorite characters from Step by Step, going back to Jason Marsden, his girlfriend in the show, which was Dana. And I always felt like she was just this strong female character. For anybody that doesn't know, Stacey Keenan is an attorney now. And so it's like very multifaceted, which we love on the Breakthrough Show Network. And so incredible actress, but also just that she's super smart, very talented. And so I'm like, let's go talk to Stacey. So we had she took a lot of time with us, a lot of time with us. We stood there I don't even remember when I'm talking with my hands and everything else, what in the hell I was talking to her about. Uh, but we had a few moments where we were just talking about so many different things, and her as well as some of the other cast has a podcast coming out. Oh, I have it right here. She gave me this card. Keenan and Lakin give you deja vu. It's a step-by-step rewatch podcast. You guys
Ooh.
you might be able to pause and scan that later. But you can find that on Instagram, so go check that out. And so I was telling her about the show as well. I was like, I would love to have you on just to talk about like kind of that transition of going from actress into the world of being an attorney. Like, does it even compute? Like, does it even flow together at all? This is the photo that I chose of Stacey.
Oh.
With the step-by-step logo at the top. And again, super, super nice. And she said, one of her favorite things is getting to is hearing about how so many of us that watched it as kids are now watching it with our kids, and that it's sort of like, it's a full circle kind of moment. So she really enjoys that now, and I'm hoping to get to talk to her further later. But it was a great day. It was a long day. It was a great day. But one of the things that I said is that, and the same thing happens. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Danielle, when you're watching some of the old shows and movies, but this happened again yesterday where you're taken back there in your mind of that time. And when it's over, you kind of blink and you're like, where am I? Like, what decade am I in? And it just takes you back for a moment because it's so easy to go there in your head and to really be there. And then you're like, oh, we're not there though. We're not there anymore. And it's sad.
It's
It's
a
sad.
whole other world.
Yeah.
That's so completely different from now.
Yeah. It's very different. They did have a couple of spots where you could do different photo ops and things like that with different things. They had all of these old, I'll show the one show the one of my husband. They had all these old TVs set
Ooh,
up of what the old the old TVs used to, not certainly not flat screens, the
definitely
big
not.
ones. And then we went into a phone booth. How many of you guys remember the phone booth? And calling collect to go home, and before it beeps, be like, I'm at the beach. I need you to pick me up right now.
Click. You're like, send me
Anybody
a
else
phone, and you're
remember?
like, hit me up.
I love it. I love it. So they had a couple. They had a big version of the MTV Moon Man. Um, they had so many things. Like I said, next year it will be a 3-dayer. It will be for sure. Nancy remembers. She's like, I remember that. But it was a great time, and I did come home with um
Oh my goodness.
Mr. 90's bear. Came home with him. Came home with a mug. I have one
Nice.
other prize that I'm not showing. It's for whoever wins trivia on Wednesday. I have one more prize for somebody. So be on the lookout for that. I showed these earrings, so I want to really quickly shout out Night Owl Designs. I'm gonna share my screen super quickly with you guys so you can go follow them on Instagram. But Night Owl Designs, and they have a lot of really cool jewelry that she makes, among other things. You can check them out. But I got the Dawson's Creek earrings, Dawson and Jen, and then this is a good one. I got Clarissa Explains It All
Oh, those are
earrings.
cool.
See those? And then, because y'all know how I feel about my Care Bears, I have the pink Care Bear earrings that I wear often. I got Sleepy Time Bear.
Oh.
Sleepy Time Bear there. And then one other shout out that I want to share. Where is the other page of this? Here we go. Okay, so I stopped. This was a really like last minute. You guys have got to go check them out on Facebook. She's on a little bling is her page, but she had these tumblers that were so cute. So
Oh, I
cute.
love that. I'm going back to the 90s. Yes.
Yes. So many of the I love this one. Can we go back to when the biggest decision in life was if we like Danny, Johnny, Joey, Jordan, or Jonathan the most?
Donnie.
little new kids reference there.
Yes. I love
Um
those.
there were so many and I was dying laughing because she had one that had tarot cards on it, and it says I don't need tarot to read the bullshit.
Ooh, yes.
I thought that was
Yes.
great. I thought that was great. So go check them out. A little bling. She says she's not on Instagram because she doesn't technology. But they were sharing yesterday that how much fun they had at 90's Con, and they're super nice people, and they have lots of things. Oh, I have to tell you about this. They have these little toppers for some of the cups, and they actually work. Like this is an actual like one of the little pet, like they work. So
Stop
cute for
it.
the top of the cup.
That's awesome.
I thought that was great. So that was super fun. I definitely when I walked by, I was like, I don't have time, but I'm gonna shout you out in the morning. And so I wanted to make sure to do that. But it was great. That's for entertainment, is the one that puts on these events. And it was really amazing. I have a couple clips that they've shared that we'll share Wednesday and Friday because we're out of time now. But thank you so much to all of the celebrities that took their time with us yesterday and entertained our questions and asked about my show, which was great.
Oh,
To get to talk about that, and maybe we'll get them on the show at some point because they really are incredible people and so they have so many things to share outside of what you see on TV, about life in general and family and career and all of these amazing things. So that would be awesome, and I will cross my fingers that we'll see them on the show at some point. But I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time there because it was great. It was great. Who would you have wanted to see that I didn't get to see yesterday? Like in person.
Oh, you saw Danielle Fisher.
I walked by her, but yeah.
I would have wanted to see her.
Yeah.
And you're good with the names. I'm not. But Pacey
That's okay.
from what was it? Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. Yeah. That so yeah. it was hard because there it was just Danielle Fishel was high on my list as well because my daughter Nina really wanted us to go see her, and we just ran out of time. Just ran out of time.
I almost named my firstborn Topanga because I was that obsessed with her. Instead, I named her Selena after Selena the singer, so she got out of that. But it was a close call.
Yeah. Do you hear that, Danielle? She almost named her daughter Topanga. Like, I love it. I want to remind you guys, you can go to projectjoylive.com, and I do have the Join Live link lit up and ready for you to come join at any point this week. If you went to 90's Con, if you were there and we saw you and you'd like to jump on the show, you can as well. But just go to projectjoylive.com, click the button, and we'll invite you on at some point. We'll be back Wednesday for our 90's party, 9 a.m. We're going to do trivia on Wednesday, so that's going to be fun. And then Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, we'll be back to cover all of our best ofs, best of the night, best song, favorite movie, favorite TV show. I don't know how I'm going to pick favorites. I feel stressed.
Ooh, I'm going to have to think about that.
we have a lot of preparing to do before Friday. I love it. Well, I appreciate you joining me today, my friend, because there were so many moments I'm like, damn it, I wish Danielle was here for this. Maybe next year.
Maybe all 3 days. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. It is a lot. It's a lot. So I showed this at the beginning. With all little faces blurred over, and here is without the bubbles. There's everybody there from all of the different panels and meeting in person and all of that we got to go to. So just wanted to uncover the faces for you guys. We will be back, Danielle and I, like I said, Wednesday and Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's a party on Wednesday, and although we will come to the end of the road on Friday, we're going to still have some fun on that episode. We've also got virtual co-working coming up this morning, starting in literally like less than 10 minutes, you guys. So join us for that. And then we have coming up on Friday, a brand new episode of The Breakthrough Show with William Plunge. No human is useless. He'll be joining us from Ghana, Africa, after his trek to the UK. And we'll be talking about his book, The Invisible Mug, and his daughter's very special project there in Africa. And super excited to talk to him about that coming up this week. Lots happening. Thank you, my friend, for being here today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to be back with more 90's on Wednesdays, you guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you back here then. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. This is Danielle Valero, and we will see you next Wednesday. Love you all so much. Have a great day. Bye, everybody. Here we